What up? Welcome back to Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. It's Detroit Lions prime time Monday Night Football against the Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders.
And it's going down, Spin. I'm guaranteed the dub. Matter of fact, hit the like button if Detroit Lions are winning this game. And if you don't think they're going to win the game, if you're a hater in the chat, if you're a Raiders fan, still hit the like button. How about that? All right. 5-star review on our podcast platforms. You catch us over there. But Spinny, Raiders have the worst, the lowest run game in the entire NFL. And as we know, it's been duly noted across the board all season long up until the Ravens game.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. Just an easy recipe for success. I just don't really see the Raiders. I can't see them winning this game. I'm sorry. I hate when it feels like kind of I don't even know the word I'm looking for, superstitious or whatever.
Not a little stitious.
Just a little.
Or not superstitious. Just a little stitious.
Yeah, just a little stitious when you say those things. But I just can't. I don't know. I can't visualize it in my head without anything crazy happening. Obviously, the injury reports: Frank Ragnow doubtful.
Yes.
Amon-Ra St. Brown will play.
He is playing.
I heard somebody earlier said that Jonah Jackson's not playing.
He is not.
So you got Graham Glasgow, I'm assuming, stepping at center. Big V was questionable. Is there any word on him?
I'm not sure.
Sheesh.
Sheesh is right. They're going to have to get it done. Obviously, all these injuries, especially to the interior offensive line, are very concerning. And like you said, you know some freaky shit's going to happen. Yeah. It's Monday Night Football. It's Devil's Night. We're in downtown Detroit. We're playing the Raiders. Yeah. Like, it's going to be some weird shit, but I'm confident in this Lions team. Like you said, this Raiders team can't run the ball worth a damn. The Lions have the second best run defense in the NFL. Yes. They're going to go out there. They're going to shut down the run offense for the Raiders. They're going to limit Josh Jacobs completely, probably completely remove him from the game. They are going to force Jimmy Garoppolo to sit in the pocket and beat them down the field. Now, it's not inconceivable to see this happening with the bevy of pass catchers that the Raiders do have, with guys like Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, Mayer. They have a bunch of good pass catchers, but still, when you can completely eliminate one side of an offense, which the Lions should be able to do in this one, it just makes the defensive game plan so much easier. Yes. You can just go after Jimmy Garoppolo, who is not Lamar Jackson, so he's not going to be spinning out of sacks and running all over the pocket to create time.
Thank you.
If you get to him and put him on the ground, it's going to be a good recipe for success for the Lions.
A 1,000,000%. The other part of it, too, is like, okay, let's go to the other side of the ball. Let's look at the Detroit Lions run game. That's been phenomenal the entire year. Again, outside of the Ravens game. You can say that, Jahmyr Gibbs kind of only gave you something in the garbage time there. He did give you those 80 yards against the Atlanta Falcons. But the run defense for the Raiders is almost just as bad as the run offense for the Raiders. And obviously, Jared Goff is best served with a little bit of play action, with a little bit of whatever freaking word I'm looking for. I've gone out of my head. It doesn't matter. But the Detroit Lions run offense completely is kind of dedicated and just prompted off of that run. I think Jahmyr Gibbs can be able to put it on him tonight. I don't know about the 70 line that we saw on FanDuel and DraftKings tonight, but I put him down for 50+ for damn sure. And on average, the Raiders defense is letting up 105 yards to running backs in every single matchup this year. 105 yards to the likes of, who's my man over there in Buffalo right now? I'm not a big, I like his brother, Dalvin Cook's brother. I can't think of his first name. James Cook. James Cook went for 128 on these boys. Like, I get we're missing some linemen, but I definitely expect the Detroit Lions to get a little bit of success running the ball against this Raiders defense, and that's how everything else is drummed up. I know Amon-Ra's a little bit sick, and he came, surprised on the injury report yesterday, but you got Jameson Williams. You got Josh Reynolds. I think Josh Reynolds has been more than consistent for you this year. His numbers in comparison were that of Jamar Chase's. Now, Jamar Chase had a day yesterday, but I think Josh Reynolds got just that today, too.
I mean, Josh Reynolds can go out there. He's on my parlay. I'm not going to lie. I got Josh Reynolds to get 3 catches. I think he's going to have a big night. Obviously, Amon-Ra is back on the team. He is playing for the team this week, but we don't know what his role is going to be. He could be limited. He still could be, feeling the illness or whatever he was dealing with. So we don't know if he's going to be 100% ready to go, the Amon-Ra St. Brown that we're used to seeing out there. So these other guys are going to have to step up if he's feeling a little under the weather. That's where I look at a Josh Reynolds. That's where I look at a Sam Laporta. That's where I look at these guys to go out there and make some things happen, because I talked about earlier in the week, or last week, it's only Monday, the biggest holes of this Raiders defense are their linebackers and safeties. So you can attack this team down the middle of the field, in the deep parts of the middle of the field, and that is spelling perfect assault for a Sam Laporta. If you get him on these linebackers, on these safeties, it's going to be a mismatch. He's going to get open, and he's going to make some plays.
Yeah, I think Sam Laporta, I saw him on DraftKings. I believe it was like 44 yards. He's going to get that?
Yes.
I think it's 4.5 receptions. You locking both of those?
Yes, I already did, and a touchdown.
I'm not sure about the receptions, but I feel good about the yards. The lock for me, if you guys are going to make some money tonight, the 2.5 receptions for Josh Reynolds. Not only has he done it in every single game, outside of the Atlanta game where he had the groin injury, but again, like you said, Amon-Ra's kind of banged up. They're going to be relying on him big time. I think he's had a couple first-time touchdowns, too, this year. I think he had the one on the road against – did he have one? Yeah, he had one against the Chiefs, didn't he? Or I'm tripping. No, he didn't. There were only 2 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
Dave Montgomery and the pick 6. But it doesn't matter. I think Josh Reynolds will be one to put some money on tonight. And not even just for money, just for, I think, to help the Lions carry themselves to wins. And again, they've won games without Dave Montgomery. They've won games without Amon-Ra St. Brown before. They've won games without Jonah Jackson there before, too. Like, it's familiar territory for the Detroit Lions. Not just familiar territory in terms of, like, missing a few key guys, but also at home, in Ford Field, in prime time. I mean, Jared Goff MVP numbers at home this year.
And we already know that you have doubts about Gibbs' ability to run between the tackles.
Yes.
It's definitely going to be harder to do that if you have 2 backup players in those 3 positions.
Yeah.
So expect to see a lot of sweeps, expect to see a lot of outside zones, some pitches away from Max Crosby. Going the other fucking way, because Max Crosby is the one guy on this defense that can wreck the game for you. So I expect them to push things to the boundary, to use Gibbs and his speed, get him out in space away from Max Crosby. And like you said, they need to establish that run, because that is Jared Goff's bread and butter, is the play action pass. They need to establish that run before they attack the deep middle third of this ball club, of this Raiders defense, where it's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
You can't just go out there and throw the ball at Sam Laporta every time, no matter how much I want him to. You're going to have to establish the run game. We'll see what happens with that interior offensive line, but I still think they can get Gibbs going if they use some creativity, which Ben Johnson has shown he is very capable of doing.
Now, I kind of wish there was some more pessimism in this room, because I want to hear what does make people nervous. I mean, the chat, if you're listening, obviously you guys are listening, but let me know what makes you nervous about this Raiders team. Because even looking at Jimmy G, I get they played a few games without him now. He's had that back injury because the offensive line sucks. My guy Jeff, he's got a bet for you guys later on the night. I think it was kind of wild, but I could also see it happening. It just basically goes along the lines of Jimmy G getting sacked a lot. A bad back on top of that. I'm not scared of Brian Hoyer, but in the games that Jimmy G has played,
had 6 sacks against this team in one game.
He did. Where's the freaking game I'm looking for? That was against Aiden O'Connell, though, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think his first time out. Either way, I'm looking at Jimmy G's numbers while healthy, while in the game. 1,000 yards in this season, 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. They're just not great at all. He's played the teams like the Packers. He went 1 touchdown, 1 interception against. They're not great by any standard. I think their defense is respectable, though. The Steelers have a damn good defense. The Bills have a good defense, too. And the Broncos literally up 70 points. Let me correct 70 points. You heard that right, 70 points. And I know it was against the Miami Dolphins, but still, that's like record-breaking numbers. The defense is not.
They just held the Chiefs to 9 last night.
Yeah. And Jimmy G didn't do shit against them either. I really, again, Chris, you raise your hand when you want to talk about pessimism. What are you scared about?
I'm not scared of anything. I'm just surprised that you're the guy that comes in here every single week and goes, I think the Lions are winning, but if they lose, this is how Jordan Love has a game.
Desmond Ridder.
Yeah,
I just don't see it tonight, man.
Yeah, what is it that's different? Is it just simply the fact that they are so bad at the run game, and the run game is the key? And
the Lions,
I mean, us missing the interior lineman does make me a little bit nervous, but I still don't see it getting in the way of a win.
The biggest thing to fear in this game when you're a Lions fan is Max Crosby. Yeah. He is by far the biggest thing you have to fear. He is going to be the best player on the field.
Yep.
Period. He is the best player on the field. And he can break games. He can go Mad Max, and he can take Jared Goff out a couple times, force a strip, get an interception, do the things he does that makes him a top 3 edge rusher in the NFL right now. So you need to look out for him. You need to account for him. You need to double him, chip him, line Brock right up on him every single play and have him chip him no matter what side he's on. I'm just nervous about what if they get fancy on defense and put Max Crosby in the interior pass rush. Because he could eat these guys up in the middle.
That'd be the move, right? If I'm a defensive coordinator and I have Max Crosby, which I feel like he's changed both sides of the line at the edge, but I'm talking about, like you said, interior, then I do get a little bit nervous. I mean, the Detroit Lions, if you watch when they don't do well, it's when they do have those like awkward blitzes coming out of the secondary. Yes. And that's already on tape, obviously, through the Ravens game. That could be something where the Raiders could take advantage of the Detroit Lions' offensive line and how good and depleted
especially
it is.
Without your signal caller on the offensive line. Yeah. Without Frank Ragnow, if he doesn't play, which I'm assuming he's not going to, not having him to be able to call out blitzes, to be able to check linebackers, check safeties, know where the pressure's coming from, it's going to make it a lot more difficult for the Lions' offensive line.
And offensively, that's huge. There's this thing they have, it's called I think it's called a quick play or quick tap or whatever the hell they call it, but it's from when you break the huddle, the entire offense counts down. I think it's like 17 seconds, 16 seconds typically. Yeah. And there's no call. There's no height. There's no silent nothing. It's just, well, it is silent. But you just count down that 16 seconds from when you break the huddle, and you just automatically snap the ball. That's how they got off against a lot of those third downs against the Buccaneers a few weeks back. Right, without Frank Ragnow, I just obviously you have a little bit of concerns about the chemistry there and you know, executing those same things. But again, I think when it comes down to like just getting this Raiders team in a phone booth and just punching them out and running the football down their throats, I think we'll still be able to do that. I think obviously whoever's going to start, it's probably going to be, I don't even want to say his name, Ayoade.
Yodi.
Yeah,
just call him Yodi.
Yodi. You probably want to avoid running that way, but Glasgow's still a formidable run defender. I'm sorry, run blocker. Same thing with Big V if he does play. I mean, I think there's still ways to get the run game going.
Man, if it's Yodi, Glasgow, and Sorsdale though.
Especially if they're trying to get exact with the blitzes and they're trying to come in like, just, all right, pause, but come on in. Let's, you know, I'm not gonna use the word I was gonna use. I don't have to say pause anymore. But I think
we need to see some blitz beaters. We need to see our guys get the ball, some screens to Jahmyr Gibbs, a screen to Sam Laporta, a screen to J-Mo when they bring that pressure, because they're going to. Because like you said, it's on tape now that the Lions struggle with exotic blitzes, with safeties, with corners, with linebackers coming in, especially in the interior of that offensive line, and now with 2, possibly 3 backups playing in that interior offensive line, you know the Raiders are going to dial up some creative schemes, some creative blitzes. So I'd like to see Ben Johnson have some blitz beaters in there, with it be a screen to one of our speedy guys in J-Mo or Jahmyr Gibbs, or even a tight end screen to Sam Laporta.
I mean, much like Dave Montgomery was, Jahmyr Gibbs is just as pivotal in this matchup for Detroit Lions. I mean, they're going to have to be able to run the ball because offensively, I just don't know if they'll be able to sit back there and give Jared Goff all the time of day to hit other guys open. But receiving-wise, one name we haven't mentioned is Jameson Williams. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get back, but not before I tell you guys about Fairway Packing.